What's up everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm working on the Tacoma and specifically something a lot of you have commented about. If you haven't seen lately, I've been changing up all of the lights on the truck. I went from the stock housings with the stock bulbs to full LED bulbs all around, even doing the fog lights and all of the taillight bulbs as well. And then I decided to change it up and get new housings all around. So these lights that I currently have right now, if you haven't seen the install for those, that'll be in the description below. But these came with LED DRLs, which is this entire ring around it. It has LED turn signals, which is the top section, but they did come with halogen headlights and high beams. So that is the exact same setup as the stock bulbs or the stock housing. And a lot of you questioned me why I did that. Why did I go from all of these super bright LED bulbs to back to the halogen setup? Well, I'm going to show you in today's video. I have fixed that. I have come up with a solution, so I'm going to go ahead and turn on the driver's side here. And hopefully you'll be able to see from here, I have LED headlights and high beams. These are the halogen headlight and high beam bulbs. So I have fixed that for today. What we're going to do now is pull this inside to the garage. I kind of had to do like a makeshift install for these lights. So I want to make sure that they're level, and obviously it's not nighttime out yet. And then I'm going to show you guys the process putting the LED bulbs into these housings. A lot of you really like the headlight housings themselves, and I honestly love them. I love how they look over the stock bulbs. I love how they look over these stock housings because it just gives the truck more of an aggressive look. And now I have LEDs all around up front, at least on the driver's side so far. All right, so I mean, look how aggressive. If it was nighttime out, this is what you would see coming down the road. That just looks so good looking. All right, so we're gonna do the headlights first. So like if I cover up this one, we can see that right there, right? And then if we cover up this one, so they're a little high, aren't they? Because that one is in line right here, and then if we cover this, it might be a little crooked going like this. So that's just a matter, well, let's see the high beams. The high beams look okay, don't they?
But I feel like with the yellow one, you can see it's got a central light and then it goes outward. This one is more like all the lights on the left side of it.
A giant circle.
But on the LED, we're seeing a moon shape versus like a full circle shape.
So is it gonna work?
It might be crooked or something within the housing.
Yeah, and that could be.
That rubber thing, how does that fit in there?
It won't, but I had to take a rubber gasket seal off of these in order to fit them inside. They could be crooked, but that could just be a matter of they're not moving in there. We just have to get them in the correct spot. All right, so now onto the headlight.
So that's wiggling it all around?
Well, I'm trying to twist it right now, like. It's in there.
Well, aim it. It's this way.
I don't know the best way to to twist it. I don't know what I'm doing.
It's got to be as smooth as possible.
Well, it's also a matter of how to get it to sit in the housing. Like this is all the way in. And like this is as far in as it goes. And then if we come back.
See, it's got to sit in it somewhere around there.
Yeah.
As smooth as possible.
How's that?
Yeah, something like that.
Like that?
Yeah.
Alright, so this is the high beam now.
See, that's where it needs to be.
Like right here?
You want it lighter in the center like the other light is.
Like, not like that.
No.
More like that. So that might be possible. Let me go grab the spacers for them. So we just did a small test. We'll go ahead and show you guys again. I put basically the factory spacer back on the high beam. So with Brian back in the garage here, from this angle, the left side is the LED, right side is halogen, and yeah, it's a lot more even, as you can see, even with Brian moving in the truck. That's pretty much, that should be level in that housing. Yeah, so the reason that it wasn't before is because I took off the spacer. I thought it would be easier to put the bulb back in without it, but it turns out that's actually an important part. It keeps it more in line and more snug, basically like where it belongs.
Keep in mind that spacer is correct?
Correct, yes.
So it's not, I don't think.
Yeah, the spacer is supposed to go into the stock housing and lock into place.
They don't lock into
They don't lock into place, I just have them in there, and then the spacer, the light is being held in by the back side of the cover that went back on. We'll show you this when we do the other side. I think that's a thumbs up. We're gonna go ahead and do the headlight now. Headlight bulb is in now, time for round 2. Hopefully we can go 2 for 2. From here?
That works perfect.
Yeah?
I mean, they're a little rounder as we get closer.
So what would do you know which direction round would make the light? Like, is the light too close, too far away? So I don't know if you can see from there, but they both have the same the same bowl shape, or you know, half pipe shape. It's very, very close.
I thought you would have to go up.
Now you mean when we say up, like this?
Yeah.
Okay.
But
That's pretty darn close though. So, I think it's good. We might mess with it just a little bit.
better like this tattoo was on before.
Say that again?
Look at where I was. Where I was from the beginning.
It was like right about here.
Look how much better everything looks than before.
Right, yeah. So the spacer that was on it definitely has a huge difference in that.
I just helped her just hold it a little bit.
Yeah. Well, that completes the driver's side. I know a lot of you guys are going to be excited to see this. I'm super excited myself that I got this to work. So just to show you on the driver's side before we go ahead and move on to the passenger side, this is 100% totally reversible. I didn't cut any wires. I didn't want to void any warranties with the housings that I have. So if I can try to angle you guys down in here, the back side of the housings for the light has this attachment here. This is the extra wire that plugs into the truck wire for the lights that came with the housings. So as you can see, I have electrical tape on them. This is not something, again, that I wanted to cut because it goes through a seal through the middle of this backing and into where the stock bulb would connect to. So those are just kind of hanging out for the meantime. The electrical tape is just to keep the connection, you know, free of any junk or anything like that. This is the LED light connection into the factory wiring for the truck, and I just have it going up underneath. I'll show you. There's a nice little trick to do that. So moving on to the passenger side now, I'm going to start with removing the windshield washer fluid tank because I don't have enough clearance. You can do this side easy. The battery's not really in the way, so you have full access. Probably would have been smarter to do this off the truck, but I wanted to see how they looked as is. So that's the first thing that I need to do. I'm gonna say that might have to do for now. I can at least get to the back of the, what is that, the headlight? That's the high beam. I can at least get the back side of that and reach. So I have a little bit of wiggle room, which is nice. And I'm gonna go ahead and disconnect. I'm gonna start on the outside here, which is the headlight, and I'll show you in more details what this housing looks like. There is a little small metal spring that's holding in the lights. The little, I think it's called the retainer clip. It's not too hard to get out. Just gotta pop that. And then here is the stock bulb. And I basically have everything pulled out right now. So here's the halogen bulb. It's connected to the wiring here. Wiring goes through this cap. This is what I am not cutting. So all of this is staying. What I can do is easily remove the bulb itself. And with the bulb out now, this can actually kind of just wrap around the back here and stay hidden. So that allows me to not cut anything. And then all I have to do is detach it from this side. And now with this completely removed, this is the part that I ended up doing the electrical tape on. And so now what I need to do, the little metal retainer clip, hopefully I can show you guys a good angle here. So this is the metal retainer clip right here, if you can see me wiggling this around. It's just held in with a flathead screw. The only problem is I can't get a Phillips head. I can't get a Phillips head in there to take that out. So if I had the headlight out, obviously I could remove that. On the other side, I just bent it out of the way. So it's a little bent, but I could bend it back to put in the stock setup if I had to. So basically I just need to bend that out of the way and then we can put the headlight in. With that bent out of the way, I'm going to take the stock wiring from the truck and go ahead and connect it to the new, here's the LED bulb that I currently had in the truck. And there is a certain way to do this. Hopefully I get it right on the first try. I'm going to go test it just before I put everything back together. But now what I need to do, this is the spacer right here that I originally took off. You're going to want to keep this on if you have these lights. If you have smaller bulbs, it might be an easier fit. But now I'm just going to place this back into this housing. I have that retainer clip out of the way, so now it's just a matter of wiggling this down into place there. And I know you guys won't be able to see this. It's just like installing really any other headlight bulb, just back into the housing itself. And I just have to get some of these wires out of my way. What I'm also doing as well is this wire is coming out the bottom. It's not the side or the top. I have it in this orientation because there's a little divot cut out. I hope well, good, at least it hit the ground there. I'm using that small little indentation down at the very bottom to put the wire, so that way it can get sandwiched between the seal of this and the inside of that and actually fit. So it's not coming out of the side and it's not getting squished as much as it would. So that is the little trick that I'm doing to get them to fit. Here's the entire backing. So here's the cap right here. and you have the other cap on this side, you can see the wires coming out the bottom of it. It's where that little indention is, just right up underneath there. If I can move this, right up underneath here is that indention. So that's how I'm getting through, not going through this instead. That's another bulb successfully installed now. I wish I could show you guys putting this back on, but it's really just trial and error getting it to line up. Since you have the new wire here running underneath it, it just has a little bit more of a snug fit. You just have to make sure too, on the back side of this cover going on, if I go ahead and take off the other headlight one right now. So on the back side of this one, if you can see, there's 3 tabs, one here, one on the right side, and then one on the bottom of it. Those have to line up as well. So you have to get this back in the right orientation for it to fit, and it just takes a little bit, again, with this wire running underneath the back of it. There are 2 clips that are holding on the back side of the stock light. So you just have to remove those. Very straightforward to look at those and see how to do that. And with that off, time to do the same thing, unclipping this from the wiring on the truck. All right, and we're back to this again. I'm gonna go ahead and put electrical tape on the end of this, just making it easier so I don't have to do that when it goes back in. And now the easiest way to put this back in, you're gonna first take those 2 retainer clips that we're holding in the stock bulb and just put those back into place. So again, you'll see how they go. They just, there's 2 places that they lock into, and then from there I'm gonna put this on top of those retainer clips. So hopefully you guys can see this. This is the metal clip right here that I was talking about earlier. I'm just gonna connect that back into place as if I was putting the stock light in, and then with the high beam bulb, I'm just gonna lay it on top of that basically, and that's gonna hold it in place. So once I put the backing on this light isn't gonna move. So I had to bend that bracket for the headlights just to get it out of the way, but on the high beam bulb here, you can just place this right on top of that. That cap took me a little bit longer this time since I didn't have much wiggle room behind that, but that is it, you guys. I have the new LED bulbs, or my existing LED bulbs, for the headlights and the high beams. I am super excited that that worked. Hopefully I showed you enough steps to be able to do this yourself. If you have a smaller bulb, I'm sure it would fit just a little bit better. Since I am using a different setup or style of bulb, maybe there are some bulbs out there that could be a direct plug and play, and you wouldn't have to worry about using a different wiring harness. You could simply just hook up to the ones that came with these headlights. So there is probably that option out there, but I'm just using what I have. And I know a lot of people wanted to see me make this work and see how it works. So again, hopefully I showed a good step-by-step on how to do that. But now before we go ahead and get nighttime shots, just to show you guys again how bright these are at nighttime, I'm gonna change my fog lights out to the other ones that I have. I think they will just match better with the new headlights and the ditch lights on the hood. We've come to a wall now just to get a good kind of blank background. That way we're not inside the garage. And so far with the headlights on, they look like they're both even, which is obviously good. We can't tell if that, like the half pipe shape is normal or not. So those are the headlights, and then if we go ahead and put on the high beams, you get a big circle. Again, I don't know if that's normal or not.
We'll have to take it down a pitch black road to see the difference.
Yeah.
Because if they're usable and they work, then we know they're good.
Yeah.
But since technically these bulbs are not locked in place,
yeah,
we might just want to find like xenon bulbs.
So we'll see. We'll let it get a little bit darker so that way we can throw that into this video.
I don't know. They're not as even as I think they should be.
Yeah. But they're pointing straight.
I think they're straight, but I don't think they're in the projector perfectly centered to where it's amplifying the light.
Yeah.
So, because technically these don't actually fit these housings.
Right, so we'll let it get a little bit darker here. Well guys, this might be a disappointing part in the video because they're not really lined up right. So these are the headlights on right now. If I turn the headlights off and do the fog lights, they're almost in a straighter line than the headlights. The headlights are like divided into left and right. High beams look like they work pretty well.
Well, hold on.
So,
can you just do no lights and just do your flashers on? It's still central towards the center.
Yeah. And then if we do headlights and then high beams again.
Yeah.
It's weird because there's fog lights. Fog lights cover the middle if I just keep everything on.
But also the headlights don't shine too far forward.
Yeah, they really don't. This is all we can see right now.
Like we're coming up to a turn and we really can't see the turn just yet. And we're within 3 car lengths of it.
One of them is aimed at the grass, and we're missing like the whole front of the truck.
Yeah, it's lighting up like 10 feet in front of the truck, I would say.
So here's high beams. I mean, that's what I would expect with high beams.
Yeah, not too bad.
But I can barely see. It's not going to show up on camera. I can't see at all the road. The road is dark. Well, guys, I tried. As you saw, the lights are not being held in as securely as the stock ones would be, or even when the bulbs I'm using now were in the stock housings and securely locked. So
they're really just sitting in there, and if they're too far, if they're too far away from that projector or too close, it's not going to be right.
So either I try to figure out how to fix it or just go with new LED bulbs.
Yeah, you'll need LED bulbs that are made for these housings.
Yeah.
So I guess that's next on the list. Let's find those.
Well, I'm gonna look for new LED bulbs for these housings that will fit correctly, and I will update you guys on getting full LED bulbs back to the front of the Tacoma. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Unfortunately, it looks like that is not going to work. So again, I will come up with a solution. But if you enjoyed today's video, make sure you give it a thumbs up, smash that subscribe button, and stay tuned for what's next. We'll see you guys in the next video.